after 8 months. We started Season 3 of the eTeam BRIT GT Challenge 8 months ago back at Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit. But here we are for the 8th and final round of the championship, shortly after a month ago, where we headed over to the deep parts of the Ardennes forest of Spa-Francorchamps. We are now in the Emilia Romagna region of northern Italy. Welcome to the Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari, more commonly known as Imola, and a warm welcome to you watching wherever you are. Thank you very much for joining us. It's Alex Goldschmidt and David Christie. We broke some big news that David is going to be joining us back in Season 4, but David, you're going to be getting back behind the wheel again after a long spell away.
Yeah, I certainly am, at least for the first race. We'll see how long it lasts. I might be joining you back in the commentary booth a lot quicker than you actually think, Alex. But thanks for the introduction. Look, I mean, what a season it's been. I've somehow aged about 4 years in the 8 months that we've been on here. It's been an amazing season, and for me, I'm just delighted that we came back to ACC. What an amazing season we've had, and what better way to finish it off than coming to arguably one of the best circuits for GT3 racing here tonight at
Indeed. Indeed. Coming into this final round, the driver's title has got one name against it, and that is Robbie Stapleford. As you can see, he took the title by a clear 44 points, so no one, not even Charlie Crossland, can do a number on the stapler here tonight. But the battle for second position, very hotly contested. Charlie Crossland returns, but as per the regulations, he comes back with the ballast that he had as a result of round 6, where he finished in second position. That was back at Donington Park 2 months ago. So he's got Dean Riley, Reegan Mithcell, Rich Smith, Kieran Vidago, Sean Campbell and Martin Buchan all vying, and they're within a mathematical shout of that second position. But it's going to be close, it's going to be down to the wire. The team's championship, however, is between the battle of SimSport. Yes, SimSport Solutions lead SimSport Racing by 10 points going into this round. So, SimSport Solutions, you've got Dean Riley and Rich Smith. SimSport Racing, Kieran Vidago and Reegan Mithcell. One of these two teams will walk away with the championship crown for the teams here at Imola tonight. David, this circuit, steeped in GT3 folklore, it has been around for such a long time, but opened back in 1953. So in 2023, it celebrates its 70th anniversary. It's a home to the GT World Challenge Europe, the DTM most recently for this season, where it's going to come in. The European Le Mans Series, amongst others, the Porsche Super Cup. Some great racing has been had, not just here in the real life, but also in the sim racing world.
Absolutely, and as you said, steeped in tradition and history. It's one of those iconic circuits that it is such a strange thing. It's kind of like Imola. It looks very, very straightforward and simple to drive, but actually when you get on that track, you realise what an absolute undertaking it is, let alone doing it by yourself. It's going to be chaos tonight.
19 corners, 4.909 kilometres. Qualifying is underway, but before we get through into the thick of the action here at the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari here at Imola, we're going to take a look back to 1 month ago at the place they call Spa-Francorchamps. So, ladies and gentlemen, are we ready? Hopefully, grab a hold of something, because it's going to be a rough ride, a roller coaster ride here at Spa-Francorchamps. Stapleford and Mithcell on the front row, and we wait, and it goes green and into Eau Rouge for the first time of asking. Robbie Stapleford edges ahead of Reegan Mithcell as they go up the hill for the first time. Dean Riley keeping ahead of Kieran Vidago. Everyone, it's a bit side by side between the likes of Tony Mellor, who's got a great start. He's jumped past Mark Neutlings and has been challenging Martin Buchan, and it's nearly 3 abreast as Vidago on the outside of Riley, who was nearly on the outside of Reegan Mithcell, going through into Le Gomme, and Vidago has to relinquish that charge. Bobby Trundley did a great job just to keep the Nissan planted to the outside, get himself the inside run into La Source, and now this is going to open the door for Martin Buchan. Tight line taken by the Lexus, or a little bit of a touch between the left front of the Lexus and the right rear of the Bentley. No harm, no foul right there, but that could have opened the door for Stuart Ross French, but epic defending there from Bobby Trundley.
Mega stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what a Code Brown moment looks like on Assetto Corsa Competizione when you're actually following a car. So Trundley's back, the back end steps out.
Through towards Eau Rouge and Radion. This is Bradley Brocky's then 2 places ahead of Bobby Trundley. Is this going to be a carbon copy? It's that curb on the right hand side. No. Oh! That is going to be a trip to the chiropractor, I'm afraid, Alex.
Pit stop window is now officially open for the next 20 minutes, but Dean Riley had halved that gap to 0.33 of a second. Towards the outside with 18.5 minutes to go. This is the battle for 4th on the road, and Vidago's going to have to withdraw from that one. Oh, he got a little bit of a touch.
Outside right, so let's see what happened with Kieran Vidago here. This is on the entry into Lake Coombe. I think that's a difficult one to see because that was onto the curbs, and yeah, I'm not going to pass any comment on that whatsoever, which is a first for me. I want praise for that, by the way.
An eTeam BRIT Aston Martin right up his exhaust pipes.
Oh, and a mistake there means that it looks like it's going to be up inside, surely, for Sandro Ballesteros. They're going to be side by side.
That's Bobby Trundley and Stuart Ross French, and Bobby Trundley is trying to thread the eye of the needle through into the bus stop chicane. He got popped. What spatial awareness was that? That was epic!
Madness! Absolute
Robbie Trundley with the move of the season. Ladies and gentlemen, provisionally your Season 3 eTeam BRIT GT Challenge Champion is Zansho Simsport 2's Robbie Stapleford. After the dramas at Spa-Francorchamps, David Christie, we've got one rip-roaring ride around the Emilia Romagna region here in Imola, haven't we, tonight? Because qualifying's well underway.
We absolutely have, and you know, you mentioned there about me jumping back behind the wheel for next season. If ever you needed a reason to do that, look at that last lap there between the 4 of them fighting it out for 16th place, Alex. That's exactly what I want to be in amongst for next season. So yeah, qualifying, as you said, well and truly underway. We've got 17 minutes left to go at the circuit here, so we'll be able to jump back down into to go trackside in just a second. But Alex, I mean, you know, on the case that obviously the championship is done and dusted, it's weird because you'd expect it, you know, a low attendance or whatever, and yet nearly everybody's here, and yet there's still so much to fight for through the championship.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, there's still some bit of bragging rights. I mean, there is going to be a Season 4 of the eTeam BRIT GT Challenge, and we're pleased to announce that V-Box Motorsport will be on board with that as sort of like one of the title partners of the championship itself. But yeah, there's still a bit of, you know, you want to go out on a high, and especially with the track like Imola, you want to be out front. We know how difficult it can be, like through Acqua Minerale, coming like we're seeing with Rich Smith, who's currently running P3 at the moment. with a 1 minute 42.227 is his best lap time. You know, we've seen it several times, you and I, when people have gone 2 abreast, maybe even tried going 3 abreast going into the entrance of Rivazza. It's never worked out sometimes. It's always that someone's ended up being punted into the kitty litter. But Rich Smith is on an outlap at the moment. But Dean Riley already has put the cat amongst the pigeons. He's putting a 1 minute 41.8. Now, Charlie Crossland has got the ballast that he would have had at Spa if he was able to attend. But that ballast has been carried over to this round at Imola. And still to be exactly 3/10 off the pace in the AMG Evo isn't a bad shout there for someone as credible as Charlie.
Absolutely not, and the fact that he's still got that ballast and still able to get it so very close. And let's not forget, I mean, this is just 15 minutes into a 30-minute qualifying. We are going to see the absolute spicy lap times coming in the next sort of 5-10 minutes time for sure. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it, but again, it just shows how impressive Charlie has been in that machine this season to be able to pull out that sort of lap time with that ballast on, Alex.
Yeah, Mark Neutelings, the 555 from Positive Perception Simsport, currently running P7. The Bentley has always gone well in Assetto Corsa Competizione, but James Haskell, the sole Honda driver for X-Kart Esports, now jumps up into 9th place. Pretty good showing from him, a 1 minute 44.067, but there is a returnee. Our AM Vice Champion from Season 2, Cami Sturch, now jumps into the fold in the Lamborghini Huracan, the number 95, and she's partnered with, I think it is going to be Sean Campbell, who's currently running in 4th position in the 26th. Now, Sean Campbell showed that the Lamborghini had prowess back at the opening round at Kyalami and took a podium for the team, the first ever podium, and I think it meant that Phil Webb, who's the boss at both teams, because they are sister teams as well, was jumping up and down off the ceiling after Sean carried that out. So Sean could really be in the hunt for maybe a top 3 if things play out his way.
Yeah, certainly could. And of course, the other meta that we've got to talk about, Alex, is the fact of that new 1.1811 update that's just came out today for Assetto Corsa Competizione, which makes big changes to a car that obviously won't affect us here today, the BMW M4 GT3, but the McLaren, the Porsche, Lamborghini, they've all been affected by this adjustment. There was an exploit where drivers were able to put in absurd values in the what they call the toe, which is the camber and the angle that the tyres are facing, which would allow them basically free speed. So Kunos have bodged that, they've fixed it, and they've basically stopped all that happening, and now that's had a wide-ranging implication of speed on there. So that is now going to be apparent tonight. We'll see how that manifests itself out there on the track. And I've seen certainly on social media a lot of folk on Twitter, a lot of the usuals that you would see on Assetto Corsa Competizione. Pretty much nobody from here, thankfully, but they're up in arms about how different some of the cars are. So I think we're starting to see that.
Oh yeah, here we go. We've got the two-tone GTR making a reappearance. Remember with Bobby Trundley, who did one of the most outrageous moves of the season. Luke Pounds suffering from the same after effects. Well, no Bobby Trundley tonight, unfortunately. He's off elsewhere. He's actually been in a plane for the first time in his life, so well done, Bobby. But obviously he's getting prepared ahead of the British GT season with Aaron Morgan in the 570S GT4 McLaren. But Luke Pound has got the half and... you ever remember the milk term in the US, half and half? That's exactly what the colour of this livery is. It's half purple, half Team Brit for Luke Pound, and yeah, it just feels a bit weird, doesn't it? Matt Boone has been eating too much gelato again.
I'm not getting involved in that one. I was too busy looking at his tweet, literally just as you said that there. But I mean, back to the qualifying at hand. I'm looking at Sean Campbell there. That is not a bad lap time. Do you remember off air when I was like, those Lamborghinis aren't looking too fast after the update? Well, that's me shut my mouth well and truly after that one. So Crayola Kid has got that one out of the box, and yeah, that is a decent lap time there. What's that? A 1:42.04.
Yeah, less than 2.5 tenths off of Dean Riley, so it's crew versus Santa Agata Bolognese at the moment in terms of the manufacturers represented. Just under 11 minutes to go, and the way things are, Dean Riley leads the way on a 1 minute 41.820. Sean Campbell less than half a tenth off of the magic 1 minute 42-second barrier, and is fractionally ahead of Charlie Crossland. Rich Smith rounds out the top 4 ahead of Reegan Mithcell, with Kieran Vidago bringing another Cavallino Rampante into the top 6. Martin Buchan in the eTeam Vasaro Lexus RCF GT3. There he is, coming along towards the 6 tenths up on his current 3 tenths up. So this could put him a little bit higher up, and he goes ahead by a fraction. Look at that, 8 1/1000ths quicker than Kieran Vidago. Daniel Hyde, the Scuderia Glickenhyde, as he was wearing on his t-shirt in the Simply Race Endurance Series quite recently, that you and I had the pleasure of commentating on. Charlie Crossland still in second. Oh look, he's pulled that. Look at that gap he's pulled. He's got himself up into second, and what's more, he's only a tenth off of Dean Riley, and Bradley Brockie's running pretty well in the eTeam BRIT McLaren 105 720S.
Yeah, this is what I was saying, Alex. 5-10 minutes makes a world of difference in qualifying. They've got their banker laps in. Now they'll be getting their super secret qualifying settings on and absolutely throwing it to the wind. Charlie Crossland's got absolutely nothing to lose now. Well, he didn't have anything to lose coming into this final round, given that the championship was already done and dusted. But also seeing Robbie Stapleford still in pit lane. Wonder if he's just going to be waiting towards the end. We've seen that quite a few times actually, Alex, where he waits to the end and then just brings in like one absolute stormer of a lap. So again, I'll be waiting with bated breath to see what happens there. Great to see Cammy Sturge back on the grids here, and out currently in 15th place. Again in that Lamborghini, I would expect to see Cammy probably up in the sort of 10th to 12th place there. We'll certainly see how she does coming down through Tosa just now. And then up the hill. It's such a wonderful change in incline and height on this track, because especially up here, the climb up towards Piratella, and then it's on the brakes, and you've got to do a little bit of trail braking, pulling that car in, letting it drift a little bit wide out at the right hand side. Then it's down on the roller coaster again through a right hander, and it's sort of blinking, you'll miss it on the run down to Aqua Minerale, and then up the hill again. Honestly, it's unbelievable how many times the car goes up and down. This is the bit that I always struggle with though, down into Variante Alta. I either pull the car in too early or I pull it in too late, and I'm either spinning the car round on the left hand side or overshooting on the right hand side, and you will see that from many of the drivers here tonight under pressure.
Yep, so we are heading into the last heading into the last 8 minutes. So effectively, this is where it all counts. And Cammy Sturge now heading towards the start-finish line here at this circuit, just over 4.9 kilometres, just a shade over 3 miles. And that was that's her best lap time so far, 1 minute 44.335 from Cammy Sturge. There's a yellow flag because there was an eTeam BRIT Aston Martin pulled to the right-hand side of Tamburello there, David.
Yeah, just casually dumped, as you will, into Tamburello. It's a little bit inconsiderate of other drivers, really. As James Haskell, as you said, in that sole Honda, still in P12 just now. He's trying to cut into that top 10. Luke Poundo in that Nissan GTR. Now, that is a car that I love, the fact that is still going strong. We've always been big fans of the GTR because, let's face it, nobody really loves it. Nobody really takes that car and does what it should be getting done with it. It's a bit neglected, and yet Luke Pound even, 8th position.
David, come on.
Exactly, 8th position, a second and a half there. There's still a lot of time on that table there, and I'm looking at that top 15, and I'm thinking we could easily get a couple of positions changed here.
Very much the case. Hamish Easton is 16th at the moment. James Haskell was running in the lower echelons of the top 10. Martin Buchan's got an opportunity to get a bit higher than 7th position. But Reegan Mithcell and Kieran Vidago about 3/100ths apart. Haskell making his way down towards Variante Alta. and is currently 4 tenths up, so this could actually put him into 11th position. Gets a little bit quicker, he might even get past Bradley Brockies to put it into P10.
Yeah, I'm also seeing the fact that Dean Riley just went faster there, 141.667. That puts the gap up now to Crossland, back up to 2 tenths of a second. I think that was a little bit wide there from that driver there from Haskell. And indeed he pulls off and decides to think better of it. Dan Hyde up into 12th position there, 2.3 seconds. Now we're going to start to see chaos going on, because this is now where drivers are just going to be going hell for leather, and this is where you're going to see the real magical times come out.
Yep, and James Hall in the number 67 car, just about probably the best part of about 5.5 tenths off of his previous his best lap time so far here at Imola, as we have had another yellow flag out, and that is for the number 26. That is for Sean Campbell. That was a bit precarious, just off Villeneuve there, I believe.
Yeah, it's not the best place to lose it, and the thing is that it means that you've just got enough time to get out, get a warm-up lap done, and get across the line to start again. As we see Cammy Sturch in that beautiful Crayola car, sharing it obviously with Sean Campbell. And you know, we were at a loss for words when that car came out at the start of the season, and that was the first thing that came to my mind, was that is exactly the same shading and same colouring as a box of Crayola from my childhood. Although I think that Alex says a little bit more about my age than anything else.
Mate, I can trump you on age and you know it, and I laughed when I actually saw that because it made the highlight reel as well. It was just like, as soon as you and I think, was it Chris Buxton you were working alongside, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, because I'm sure, was it not? It was Snetterton.
Yes, indeed. That was one of the two rounds. So, yeah, that just goes to show. Max Spooner, he's channeling his inner Shane van Gisbergen tonight, because his paddles on his steering wheel aren't working, so he's gone all sequential on us, David. That's going to rip his left shoulder out of the socket, isn't it?
It's fine. It'll buff out. What can I say? It's not for me. Although, to be fair, you know, it's like, I just don't understand how you're going to have the time to do that. I like having the flappy paddles, and I think I'd honestly struggle if I had to try and do the old sequential on the gear stick to the right or to the left of the wheel here. But yeah, 3:13 left to go in the session, Alex. Do we see anybody trumping Dean Riley, and also not noticing Robbie Stapleford?
Ooh. Keep your eyes on Charlie Crossland. I've just heard he's big thank you to Mike Yow, broadcast director. Charlie Crossland, he is on for pole position. He might have just lost it. It's going to be very, very close indeed. Crossland gets it by 35 thousandths of a second with 2 minutes 50 on the clock.
I wonder if we're going to see Robbie Stapleford pull out of the... In fact, no, I know for a fact we're not going to see Robbie in the qualifying session. I saw him in a different championship. In fact, I think it was one of the Simsport GT3 championships, where I was a guest commentator for one round, and he did this where he'd won the championship and he started from the back of the grid for both of the races and won both of the races. So I would definitely not be looking past the fact that he might try and do that again tonight. I don't think he'll be able to get away with it. I think the skill level on here tonight is going to be too close. But Alex, I think we need to keep an eye on Dean. He's looking very, very fighty here in these first two sectors.
The Aston Martin has been on point for Dean Riley. He took the opening win of the season back at Kyle Army. He's about to cross the stripe in just a couple of seconds' time. 35 thousandths of a second separate him and Charlie Crossland, as the number 222 from Simsport Solutions heads across the line. And that was a 1 minute. Oh, that was quick enough. That was a one. Oh, he betted it was invalidated. I think it was invalidated. So Charlie Crossland still hanging on to pole. Is he any higher up?
Just having a look there. Well, Charlie Crossland is looking very, very good indeed. Of course, that last lap there was the 141.632, comes across the line, and no, unfortunately not for Charlie. Oh, look at that though, Kieran Vidago up into third place there, Alex, and Dean Riley calls it a day.
Oh my goodness me. He's definitely the dark horse, isn't he, Mr. Vidago? So there we go. Sean Campbell is probably looking rather close, could go up into third position. So 0.26 off of Crossland with a 1 minute 41.892. Reegan Mithcell is gunning for it as well. Let's see where he ends up. The Ferrari now crosses the line. And at 42.330, that was. And Rich Smith is 0.3 up. So could we see two Aston Martins in the top three positions? Because then that would depose Campbell onto the outside of row number 2. Here comes Rich Smith and he's Simsport Relations Rouge Aston Martin. He comes across the line in the number 76. Where's he going to factor in? I think he's fumbled it a little bit. No, it's not going to be enough. As the timer is about to hit 0 right now. That is it for the half-hour qualification session. So Charlie Crossland has got provisional pole for the final round of the championship, helping his chances for second in the season. James Haskell is about 0.4 up as he's about to come across the line. This could put him up into 11th or 12th position as the checkered is out for the session. Haskell crosses the line, goes P11 and jumps. And Cami Sturch has just put in a 1 minute 43.992. She starts from 13th position, but Charlie Crossland, David, takes the final pole position of the season.
Yeah, that's a really good result for Charlie. It'll also be bittersweet as well because it's going to make him wonder what could have been, Alex, if they were able to be here for the entirety of the season. But it is what it is, and I think definitely looking to finish out the season with a bang, with potentially going for a race win. What we have to think of is, can Dean Riley say anything to it, and what is Robbie Stapleford going to do coming from the back of the field? The problem with it as well, being Imola, Alex, is that, and again this sounds like such a meme, but you know, almost anything can happen, given that the first couple of turns we've got to go into is through into Tamburello, then at Villeneuve, and then on the run to Tosa. Do not be surprised if we see several cars either going wide or a little bit of contact and a little bit of fisticuffs.
Well, there you go. It's going to be 60 minutes of madness here at Imola. I think the terminology in Italy would normally be "mamma mia," wouldn't it, mate?
I think so. Well, I put it when I was advertising the stream on my Facebook. I was calling it, it's going to be a rambunctious evening. I think that is the quintessential way to describe it tonight. It's going to be.
That's the one that you tagged me in, wasn't it?
It is. It is. I learned a new word.
Rambunctious. I've probably used that quite a few. Yeah, a few robust contretemps going into Tamburello and Villeneuve. Who knows? Well, we have got 60 minutes on the clock here at Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari. It is the 8th and final stop on the whistle stop tour for the eTeam BRIT GT Challenge. We will be looking to start the new season in May. Further details will be brought to your attention, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, on the eTeam BRIT social media channel. So here is the lineup for the 8th and final round of the championship. Charlie Crossland starts on pole position in the number 10 Mercedes. Alongside will be the 222 Aston Martin of Dean Riley. Sean Campbell flies the flag for Lamborghini in third position and has the Ferrari of Kieran Vidago in the number 4 alongside. Rich Smith and Reegan Mithcell round out the top 3 rows ahead of the fastest out of 2 Lexi, or Lexus, or whatever you want to call it, the 666 of Martin Buchan. He's got Luke Pound and the number 66 Nissan alongside. Rounding out the top 10, it's Mark Neutelings in the 555 Bentley and Bradley Brockies in the 105 McLaren. James Haskell from X-Kart Esports starts in 11th position in the number 32 Honda NSX GT3 Evo. Sandro Ballesteros, who was going into car racing this year, having moved from karting, he is in the number 19 Aston Martin, starting on the outside of row number 6. Then it's a pair of Lamborghinis courtesy of Cami Sturch in the 95 and Dan Hyde in the number 2. That's row 7. Max Spooner in the 63 Lexus, Hamish Eisner in the number 30 Lamborghini, with Michael Tyler in the double 4.5 Aston Martin, James Hall in the 67 McLaren, and at the back end, doing a top gear from the rear, in the words of my good friend Henry Baudet, Robbie Stapleford in the 81. Could Robbie get 5 wins on the bounce? That's going to be an incredible achievement, because we didn't see that in the first 2 seasons, did we, David?
No, we didn't, and I think that it sort of accentuates the message that he did what he did over the season and missed the first couple of rounds. It's ridiculous. However, don't take it for granted. He's still got 18 other cars right in front of him to get through, and I think that given that the season is decided championship-wise for the leader, doesn't mean that it's decided for everyone else. So don't be surprised to see elbows out tonight, and maybe things get a little bit more heated than we would normally see through the rest of the season. That's what I'm thinking anyway.
Yeah, well, the 4 cars that we've got to concentrate on in this team championship battle are the drivers in 2nd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. So you've got 2 Aston Martins and 2 Ferraris. If Dean Riley and Rich Smith finish ahead of both Kieran Vidago and Reegan Mithcell, they've got the team's title sewn up in the bag. That's pretty much guaranteed. There's 10 points. So effectively, what we're going to find here is that we're going to see a gargantuan battle between this quartet, and there you see the number 81 car of Robbie Stapleford there, running in a very different livery. So Robbie Stapleford will be doing a top gear from the rear. But the final thoughts then at the final round of the season, my good friend. This, I just had a message from Max Spooner. All right, he's going to definitely earn his cheesecake tonight because he's doing most of the corners one-handed. Well,
that's there's so many jokes in there and so little time, Alex.
Time is fleeting, Mr. Christie. You know that. Well, let's see how Max gets on, but with just around 50 seconds to go on the clock before the formation lap gets underway. Final thoughts, David? It's going to be a cracker, isn't it?
It's, I mean, the level of drama tonight is going to only be matched by its incomprehensibleness. It just is going to be a top-notch race tonight. Perfect way to end the season here with eTeam BRIT and the GT Challenge, and yeah, it's got a lot of expectation. That's all I'm going to say, Alex.
Yep. So this circuit here, the Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari, opened its doors in 1953, and in around about 8 seconds' time, it's going to hear the thunder of virtual GT3 cars roaring around its circuit before we go into battle for one final time. Right then. I just noticed a slight development. Has Sean Campbell's car just disappeared off the grid? Yes, it has. It's gone straight into the pit lane. So that's spicing things up even more, because now we have got Riley, Vidago, Smith and Mithcell all within earshot of each other. That is going to prove to be, I think, a pivotal moment in the team's championship. This is going to bring it closer together. You said about elbows out, David. I don't think you were half wrong there.
Well, that's exactly it. And the thing is, I wonder if that's actually a disconnect, because the car going back to pit lane, yeah, that's a bit unusual. We'll keep an eye on it. Maybe it's just a case of some late last minute changes to the car there, but we're seeing Luke Pountier in that eTeam BRIT car, and do you know what? I'm just so glad that all of the Japanophiles out there get a chance to enjoy that beautiful bit of Japanese engineering. It is a stunning bit of kit, and I don't need to really say any more about the GTR. Big fan of it, and yeah, really happy to see that. But an hour to go, Charlie Crossland, he is out front, and he is going to have a bit of a challenge. I think Dean Riley, I think, is going to send it wherever possible and wherever he can think of doing it. But yeah, I'm very excited to see this. Can you tell, Alex?
Oh, you're chomping at the bit like a little Yorkshire Terrier wanting a treat. There we go. I said it. Finally.
Well,
but all in jest, it's been a fantastic 3 seasons working alongside this man. This man will be back in the commentary box, that I can guarantee you. But we're here for one final hurrah. The 8th round of the third season of the eTeam BRIT GT Challenge. Season 4 will be announced with all its developments, calendar, dates, times, what's happening, what's up for grabs. But we have one more title to decide. We have second place overall in the Drivers' Championship to decide. And we're getting to crunch time. Don't forget, it's a 60-minute race with a mandatory pit stop window. 20 minutes. When 20 minutes are elapsed, then the pit stop window opens. It closes with 20 minutes to go. Each driver has to serve a mandatory 30-second pit stop in the pit lane. Then we run to the checkered. So 19 corners, 4.909 kilometers here in the Emilia Romagna region. The track is at its optimum, 32 degrees track temperature, 29 degrees air. Sunshine predicted for the next half of the first half of this race as the drivers make their way around Rivazza, the double left-hander. And then we go into the kink, and it looks like...
Did I just see somebody spinning there, Alex, on the formation map?
I did. But we are now braced, primed, waiting in readiness as the 8th and final round of Season 3 of the eTeam BRIT GT Challenge about to get underway. Charlie Crossland on pole, Dean Riley alongside. It is a very, very long time until we get to the point where the lights go green. And it's a bit of an eternity. It's like waiting for paint to dry. However, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, are we ready? Are we steady? We are about to get things underway here in Imola. And now we go green, the lights go out, and a great start from Charlie Crossland. Dean Riley goes across to the left to cover from Kieran Vidago as it's side by side between Smith and Mithcell going into Tamburello. Crossland keeps the lead for the minute, but it's still side by side. Mitchell's got, whoa, that was a move and a half from Mithcell, but Rich Smith got either a little bit of a touch or maybe a tank slap out, and someone's been turned around. Mark Neutlings has gone round, Bradley Brockies is around, and they're both backwards into the wall. Sandro Ballesteros also being a bit of a casualty, and that has switched things up significantly. But great start from Charlie Crossland there, David.
Absolutely fantastic to see that. So Crossland away with it. Riley looking a little bit... He was going to make a bit more of an aggressive start, but he thought, you know, maybe patience was the better part of valour. Also seeing that Max Spooner and Martin Buchan, how different a start did they get to the race there. Martin Buchan, you can see there down in 5th place, and you know, Max Spooner caught down there with the frogs, and he is going to have to eat some frogs this evening, you know, and make his way through. It's a difficult one for him because he's caught right in the field. And yeah, he's going to have to get moving some.
Cammy Sturch up from 14th position, now up into 10th, and is chasing down Hamish Eisner. So really good to have Cammy Sturch back with us. The last time I had a brief chat with her before the broadcast. The last time she raced competitively on Assetto Corsa Competizione was on the Diamond Drive Cup a few months ago. She's been rather busy with her business as well, Go for the Gap, who are actually one of the sponsors of Cadan Casual Apex and Divario Corsa. But we are on to lap number 2 of this race. Charlie Crossland has done the old Sebastian Vettel trick. Look at the gap. He's pulled over Dean Riley already with that amount of ballast in that car. He's pulled a gap of nearly 1.8 seconds. We're on board with Rich Smith, who's started to recover now. So thank goodness for him. The mistake happened early in the race. He's closing in on Luke Pound, who's currently in 6th position with a pace that Simsport Solutions have shown. We've had a brief yellow flag come out there as Smith makes his way through, coming up towards Torza, the left-hander here. Looks close between him and Luke Pound, but Luke Pound takes the racing line. Rich Smith uses the discretion is the better part of valor technique there as they head up the hill towards the sweeping left-hander here at turn 9, Piratella.
Yeah, it's great to see as we're right on the back end of that GTR of Luke Pound. It's so good, and he's just looking so smooth and poised round up here, and that GTR absolutely boots it out of Aqua Minerale there. The accelerator and the noise coming off of that GTR, the volume getting cranked up to 11 here as they come through Variante Alta. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to see from this race, Alex. Let's go.
Yeah, It's boogity boogity boogie. Let's go racing, as you normally like to say sometimes as well, David. But Rich Smith just waiting for that opportunity. Probably will get the run coming out of Rivatsa, and look, takes a little bit more inside curb, runs the car a little bit wider than Luke Pound. Now Luke Pound does have real life racing experience with Team BRIT, and you can see the closing speed now from the Aston Martin 4 litre twin turbo V8 against the 3.6 litre twin turbo V6. So the Nissan GTR having one of the smaller displacements of the GT3 fields here. And oh, bit of a straight line there from Luke Pound, but decides to, well, it's a track cut, I've got to deal with it. Rich Smith gets a get out of jail free card, and now he's got a bit of clear air between himself and Martin Buck, and the gap between them now 2.4 seconds.
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm being honest with you, Alex, the thing with that GTR is after you go off track, if you go into the grass, if you go into the gravel, you have to take it easy. Just like that McLaren behind of Hall, you have to take it easy because your tyres are compromised. They take at least half a lap to regain the heat, to regain the tyre pressure that you've lost from it. And talking about Max Spooner there, and I was joking him about eating his way through some frogs and getting his way through there. I tell you what, he's going to have a bit of a feast of some frog's legs tonight, a bit of a bachycophagus going on there for Max Spooner. He is absolutely on it, and we joke about him obviously having some misfortune earlier on in the season and in previous seasons, but I mean, he is definitely learning some proper skills going on there, and he's shown that he can mix it with the best of them now. Considering
the fact he's using the sequential stick shift as opposed to the paddles on his steering wheel, so he's at a distinct disadvantage. And when I said before we got underway with the formation lap, he said that I'm doing pretty much every single corner one-handed. So like when you're going down into Rivatsa, you're dropping from fourth into second, you're having to turn the car in, you're possibly shifting up and then shifting back down again. And so from his perspective, that is going to mean that he's going to be burning a few more calories. He will be sweating a bit more profusely than everybody else. But whilst I say that, Robbie Stapleford, who started, and not at all surprised about this, we're on to lap number 4. Robbie Stapleford is within 0.2 of Dan Hyde, who's actually running the highest he has this season, currently 8th position.
It's exactly what I said was going to happen from Robbie Stapleford. I do enjoy it, if I'm being honest though. If I'm being completely honest, it's nice to see because it's really exciting. He starts from the back of the grid, but there's also something a little bit disrespectful about it because it's like it's almost showing off. It's almost rubbing everybody else's noses in. You know, oh, I'm so fast I can make my way through the from the back of the grid. Maybe it's not like that. Maybe there was something genuinely stopping him from taking part in qualifying. But when you see it once, you think, oh, right. But when you see it time and time again, you're like, yeah, it's a little bit showing off now.
I don't think it's a case of showing off. I think it's probably just to give himself a little bit of a test. And sometimes drivers relish that. You know, when you've won 4 races on the bounce and you've been at the sharp end in qualifying, you sometimes want to have that little bit of a challenge. And I'm sure that's probably what Robbie decided to put it in terms of that. Well, Max Spooner is actually eating a bit of cheese, courtesy of Mark Neustings, because that's what he's got on the rear bumper of the Bentley Continental. Is now Robbie Stapleford. Now that's this is probably, if this is a school of Sen, this is a textbook going through into the first part of Rivatsa, and Robbie Stapleford easily passed James Haskell. Dan Hyde. Now, what's happened to Dan Hyde? Oh, now he's had a bit of a moment, and that was. Yeah, I've just seen there's been a little bit of contact between Dan Hyde. There's been a little bit of contact between him and possibly Robbie Stapleford as well. Yeah, it looks to be the case. Then we've had an incident involving Mike Tyler and Max Spooner, so there's been a little bit of paint swapping between the Lexus and the Aston Martin. And there is the recovering Sandro Ballesteros, who was a little bit higher up, but he was he was the first driver that got turned around, I think, going into Tamburello when we went green just the best part of nearly 8 minutes ago. But Sandro Ballesteros looking up the inside of Mike Tyler, but then all of a sudden Bradley Brockes, who was running P10, who also had that incident involving Mark Neustings earlier. Now Ballesteros and Brockes were alongside each other, and oh, that's Hamish Eason that's just gone nose end into the wall, and there is Sean Campbell, who started quite a considerable amount down. Now Sean Campbell was meant to start on the second row after quali, but Sean, unfortunately, I think his goose has been a little bit cooked with regards to the battle for second in the championship.
Yeah, that's... don't know what to say about that one. It's gutting because obviously Sean Campbell, very, very fast driver, and I'm seeing Dan Hyde just dropping like a stone way down the order there, right at the back of the field there. There is Mark Neutlings now, and Max Spooner up into to 13th place. We've got a 5-second penalty for Cammy Sturge. Can't say anything about that in the penalty, so
yeah,
that's gone up to 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's a 10-second penalty for Cammy Sturge, causing an avoidable collision with Hamish Eisner in the number 30. So Cammy will have to serve that before the actual pit stop occurs. So the car will sit stationary for 10 seconds before that mandatory 30-second stop. But the battle here between James Hall, Max Spooner, and Mark Neutlings has just kicked up the pitch. 10-second stop, 10 seconds in the pit lane before the mandatory pit stop. But yeah, that was a bit tasty there. Max Spooner definitely getting his elbows out, but Mark Neutlings still keeping ahead, and Spooner gets in front of James Hall for what is 12th position.
What a start we've had to the race. I mean, we're only 10 minutes in, and yeah, this is brilliant stuff. And here we go with Sean Campbell then, still trying to fire his way through this crowd that he's got in front of him. To be fair, Sean Campbell still has a good chance of getting a really good finish here. He's got, what's that, about 10 cars within about 15 seconds of him. So yeah, Sean Campbell could do very, very well here tonight, and if he does, all credit to him. And I've just noticed actually all of the go for the gap signage on that car, and that is of course the brand of Cammy Sturge.
Yeah, I've just done a quick calculation. We're going to go to a replay now though. This is the start. We're going to go to another penalty in just a second. So this is the start. 3 wide, my godfathers, Luke Pound, and I think that might have been Bradley Brockie's sound was in the middle of him, and also Mark Neutlings. So here going through Tamburello, this is where all Constantine is up. Bit of a touch there, and Max Spooner has a little bit of a contact with the left rear of Sandro Ballesteros, and then then we had the aftermath, and there has been a second penalty issued. This one goes to Robbie Stapleford in the 81. 10-second time penalty for causing a collision with Dan Hyde. So that was from the incident. So Dan Hyde might have been on the receiving end of a little bit of contact that put the Lamborghini where it shouldn't have been, out on track. However, in the meantime, I just had a look at the virtual teams championship standings as things stand at the moment. Done some quick mental arithmetic here, David. But SimSport Solutions are currently on 177 points, with SimSport Racing currently on 162 points. So the gap has extended from 10 to 15 points in the early array. But obviously don't know what the strategies are going to be with regards to the pit stops, when the teams are going to come in. Are they going to fuel a little bit heavier? Are they going to go a little bit longer and fuel a little bit lighter? It's going to be rather interesting. Sean Campbell fires it up the inside. That's a brilliant move through Piratella. I would never thought I'd see that one coming. And right in front, he's got Sandro Ballesteros to contend with through Aqua Minerale. That's one place where you definitely do not put the cojones into full gear, but you will try and do that in Variante Alta, which is coming up next.
Oh, he's just on it, is he? He's trying to absolutely lick the stamp and sent it onto Bradley Brockie's. Does exactly the same again with Sandro Ballesteros. Ballesteros trying to have absolutely none of it, but I think that move is already done and dusted. The best thing you can do is try and get the cut back here, because Sandro Ballesteros trying to make sure that it doesn't lose another move to Bradley Brockie's, and that's exactly what has just happened there, coming down into Ravazza. And that is an exemplary lesson there from Sean Campbell on exactly how you do it. P13 now, as we see a replay. This is Robbie Stapleford. I mean, that's not the worst incident. I've seen 100% a penalty, but there was definitely no malice, no rudeness or anything like that in that incident whatsoever.
Yeah, and I have to give credit to you that you actually, when we saw battling away, who was it between? I think it was Kieran Vidago and Rich Smith at Spa. You said, I want some credit because I didn't make any judgments. It's all a bit sideways from Bradley Brockie's going through the first part of Villeneuve there. I will give credit where credit is due. You actually made a comment about an incident and you made no judgment about it. Do you remember that?
I'm just getting old, that's all it is. I'm becoming more relaxed and more tolerant in my old age, Alex. That's exactly what it is. No, look, when you see something like that, it's, you know, you have to try and think about the context of it. And what's obviously there is that you know, and this is the problem that he's going to have, is the fact that Robbie Stapleford is a very, very fast driver. He's the championship came to him because he is a very fast driver. So this is where I'm saying, when you don't qualify and you've got to try and get your way through, you're leaving yourself at the risk of accidents like that happening, where you're coming across a car where they're not as slow as you think they are. You try and send it up the inside and the car just doesn't disappear magically. Who would have known it?
Exactly. Now we've got this great battle between Sandro Ballesteros and Bradley Brockies. We're on board the rear roof cam of the 105 as James Hall a little bit further back in the 67. McLaren goes a bit wide coming through the first exit, first part of Rivazza. This is the battle for 14th position on the road. About to hit quarter distance in terms of the timer ticking down. So in just over 5.5 minutes we will hit the pit stop open window for the 8th and final time, as that's a cent and a half from Ballesteros trying to look up the inside of Brockies going through into Tamburello. Now this corner used to be a flat out sweeper, but it has been changed over the years in terms of the importance of safety out on track. Brockies takes the nice tight line going through into Villeneuve, uses a little bit of curb through the next right and into the left, and James Hall seems to be doing like everyone that was doing in Sweden quite recently, Race of Champions. He's not picking up the snow, he's picking up the dirt off the track because he's trying to go rally crossing in that McLaren, and that won't help his downforce one iota with that rear splitter bumping up and down off the grassy knolls, so to speak, David.
No, it's not really going to do too much. Alex, do you want a little bit of gossip and a little bit of drama? How about the fact that Dean Riley just took out, half a second over your race leader on that last lap there? Charlie Crossland did a 1:42.1. Now, Riley's done a 1:42.0, but the last lap before that was a 1:41.7 from Dean Riley. He is charging.
Yeah. The thing is that what he wants to do is extend that gap far enough. So, looking at it from a strategic point of view, so at the minute, Dean Riley is in second, so that's 20 points. Rich Smith is currently in fifth, that will net him 11 points. So, the good thing is, there's been a change between so Reegan Mithcell is now in third place, so it's still pretty much the same as it was, but this could help if and I'm just seeing Charlie Crossland had a nearly probably the best part of 8/100ths of a second take it out of him on the previous lap, so the gap is about 2.4 seconds, but the next time that Dean Riley crosses over the intermediate, 2.494. Dean Riley's got the fastest lap, and that could net him a pair of IMB racing gloves come the end of this race. But Charlie Crossland is still keeping. But this battle here, okay, third, fourth, and fifth. We've got the two Simsport Racing Ferraris ahead of the Simsport Solutions Rouge Aston Martin. And look, they're trying to fly in formation. Rich Smith is sort of like throwing a bit of caution to more than just the breeze. It's the big gust of wind that's coming over Imola at the moment, even though it's 3 kilometers an hour.
And just watching, actually, Reegan Mithcell here, he's under... the thing with Kieran Vidago is that obviously coming under real pressure, but with them being teammates, I get the feeling that this is something that's organised right now. It's a case of Reegan Mitchell's maybe seen as the faster of the two drivers here, Alex, and they've also got Rich Smith coming up as well, and they're going to push as far as they can to catch up to Dean Riley, but I don't think that's going to happen. What is going on with Charlie Crossland? Has his tyres gone? He just did a 1:42.9. He doesn't have anyone else there, and that gap.
Mitchell. Sorry to cut across you there, David. Reegan Mithcell just lost out big time going through Tamburello. He's going to lose a position to Rich Smith, who's throwing it around the outside at Villeneuve. This is for fourth. Oh my goodness, Reegan Mithcell just Yeah, I mean, you could be right with Charlie Crossland because Dean Riley's got that gap down to 1.6 seconds. But in the meantime, Kieran Vidago has bolted. Rich Smith has just run wide coming through Tozer. Reegan Mithcell nearly dropped the ball going through Tamburello. And Martin Buchan now joins the fray. It's all kicking off. You said about elbows out. I think it's more than elbows. It's heads, shoulders, knees and toes, let alone elbows, David.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely spot on. Just keep an eye on Bradley Brockies as well. I think he might be getting looked at from race control because I'm pretty sure a couple of laps ago I did spot him and Hamish Eisner coming together. And unfortunately, Hamish Eisner, she got sent off into the barrier there after a little bit of contact. But here is Robbie Stapleford again chasing down the GTR of Luke Pound. That gap now gone from 3 seconds down to 0.4 seconds. So Alex, 40 minutes left to go in this race, and there's so many little storylines developing here.
Well, the biggest storyline for me that I'm looking at is the two mainly is who's going to finish second in the championship. It's advantage Charlie Crossland at the moment because in 60 seconds the pit stop window opens for the 8th and final time this season. The other one is the team's battle. So it's Riley, Vidago, Smith, Mitchell. The way things stand, if Riley and Smith drop the ball big time, they will lose the team's title. If it stays as it is right now, Riley and Smith will get the team's championship at the end of this season. And you know what? Either one of those teams, SimSport Solutions or SimSport Racing, will have earned it. But the problem is there's another spanner in the works, and that is courtesy of our good old friend Mr. Martin Buchan in the 666 car from eTeam Vasaro. Now Martin has had some really great performances. He's managed to pull eTeam Vasaro into the top 10 in the team's championship. But nevertheless, we've seen him. He was our in what was one season of the Senesic BMW series. Him and Christian Kelly were going at it like a pair of petulant children battling over the last swing in the playground, and Martin won the series. However, we know how good he is. Pit stop window for the 8th and final time for Season 3 of the eTeam BRIT GT Challenge now officially open. So we're going to find out who will be pitting first. And from what I understand, this could be the last time we see the Lexus RCF GT3 in the eTeam BRIT GT Challenge, because obviously there is one car that we have discussed in the broadcast, David, that has not, or that has only partway through the season made its debut on Assetto Corsa Competizione, the all-new 2022 BMW M4 GT3. And I would imagine that some teams might bring that car into the championship next season.
Yeah, the freight train, I think that'll definitely be making an appearance next season. But Alex, I've got to say, I mean, when you said the word spanner, the person that immediately sprang to mind was indeed, of course, Martin Buchan, doing a grand job there.
Stapleford in the pits. Stapleford, the first one to blink into the pits. So he will serve his 10-second penalty, then have the pit stop done, and then out he goes. So that's the first driver to pit. So I mean, that McLaren, even though having started at the back end of the field as James Haskell in the Soul Honda, as whoa, mamma mia! Sean Campbell does the old Nigel Mansell dummy on Mark Neuslings and still hangs it around the outside going into Tamburello, and the Lamborghini has made the move through. So good to see both Divario Corsa cars in the top 11 with Cami Sturcher on the other side of this freight train, and she kicks up a little bit of dust from the right rear wheel coming through the exit of Tamburello. But Sean Campbell looking really, really racy here in the Lamborghini, and you had quite literal real life egg on your face because of what you said about the Lamborghini earlier, David.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just seeing as well, how have I not seen the fact that Kieran Vidago and everybody else is 13 seconds behind Charlie Crossland and Dean Riley? So, are you kidding me? So Charlie Crossland and Dean Riley, every single lap, are lapping 1.2 seconds faster than the entire field. That is absolutely absurd pace going on from them. Obviously, you've got Rich Smith in that number 76 Aston Martin, who seems to match the pace there just now. But, I mean, 142s from the pair of them, low 142s. It's crazy how fast they're streaking away here, and that gap now down to a second.
I would probably say that maybe Vidago's might had a little bit of damage, maybe some flat spotting on those tyres, or if the tyres are not working well, if they're degraded to a point where he's just about able to hang on. But Reegan Mithcell doing a stern defensive job on Martin Buckens. They've got James Haskell just up ahead. And then you've got Smith versus Vidago just in front as the quartet have made their way through Villeneuve. And Vidago and Smith just over 0.2 of a second apart in the battle for third place overall as things stand. But we've had 3 cars pit already. Bradley Brocky's in the 105 eTeam BRIT McLaren entry. James Haskell, who's now just in earshot, just in eye shot there, going through Pedotella in the 32 X-Kart Esports Honda NSX GT3, and then Robbie Stapleford in 81 McLaren 720S GT3 rounds out the 17th position out of 19 thus far. As Martin Buchan still tries to hustle along and keep Reegan Mithcell rather honest, and it is down to these two to get past. Nice spatial awareness there. I want to give James Haskell a lot of credit here. The main reason being is that he's scored points this season, he's been consistent, and he's gotten quicker. But that's also a good sign of another driver that you like to see compete, where they're very clean, they're very aware, and as soon as the blue flags are on, the first thing they do is they react accordingly if they know that the blue flag is coming their way.
Well, yeah, but I would argue conversely, you know, you've got great drivers like myself when they see a blue flag where they fight like hell just to you know, every position is for the win, Alex, and it doesn't matter if that car's 2 laps ahead of you. You know, you've got to. I'm joking, obviously, I'm joking. But we do see that, to be fair, in this championship. They will try and get themselves out of the way. The problem is in GT3 racing, it's not like you see in F1. You know, you don't want cars moving out of the way and slowing down. That's the last thing they want. They want to pass the car in a as clean a way as possible and as beneficial to the car trying to overtake as they possibly can. So they get encouraged to just stay on the racing line if possible and just do their own thing, because the last thing, obviously when you're further down the grid and you've got nobody nearby, if you want to just let the cars by, that's fine, but you usually end up costing yourself more time, and you're going to struggle to actually get through the races. We've seen Dan Hyde bringing out the yellow flags into turn 1 there, and James Hall as well.
Yeah, James Hall, that was going through the exit of Tamburello. Rich Smith has been in the pits as well, so he will rejoin in around about 13th position. And the yellow flag's out for Hamish Eisner, and that is heading on the main start straight, so not too sure what's happened to her. And the number 30 from Cadan Casual Apex, so that has brought out an extensive yellow flag period as we head back to the battle between Reegan Mithcell and Martin Buchan. 14 minutes and 10 seconds, and there is the car that looks to be in the pit lane there for the number 30.
Do you know what? Right, no word of a lie, Alex. One of the bug fixes that they brought out for Assetto Corsa Competizione today was to fix cars in the pit lane bringing out yellow flags. I swear to God. And that's
Johnny, that
I know they had one job and they failed.
You know what I'm going to say? If anyone can do it, big F in the chat.
Dearie me. That is, so obviously that means that the car is just getting so it's on its way again. But that's weirdly I've never actually seen that. So before they mentioned about that fixing that bug, I've never actually seen that happen. But that's exactly what has happened there. Oh, well, no, it's not, because Hamish Eisner has now been disqualified from the race.
Oh, okay, right.
What?
Yeah, that's going to be begging the question. What is going to be oh no, Kieran Vidago did not want to do that right now, and through one of the most interesting parts of Acqua Minerale. So Kieran Vidago has slightly lost a bit of traction there going through that right-hander, because you're hard on the power going through the first part, and then you're hard on the brakes. Then if you mistime it, David, that car will either under-rotate or over-rotate, depending on your positioning, won't it?
Absolutely, it's all about inertia. It's all about the transfer of weight. You know, the easiest ways that I was led to understand it was actually playing Gran Turismo when I was a little boy. Gran Turismo 2 actually came with a ridiculously extensive driving manual on how cars work, on how racing cars work, and how the way a car actually drives. And explaining, when you slow the car down, the weight moves to the front, and I'd never actually understood it until then. So for it to come out in that was absolutely amazing. But yeah, to your point, that's exactly what happens when you slow down the car. If you're trying to turn it to the right, the weight on the front wants to push the car off to the left, or the back end lifts up and over rotates the car round. So that's why you see the cars spinning out when they're on the brakes.
Charlie Crossland hanging on for the lead of the race with 31 minutes and 40 to go as Cami Sturch will now serve her 10-second penalty in the pits before the pit stop is engaged. And we are 11 and a half minutes away from the final pit stop of Season 3 to be completed. Right on board with Dean Riley. So these two very much in the battle for the for the runner-up spot in the championship itself. However, even if the fact that Dean Riley finishes ahead of Charlie Crossland, Charlie Crossland will still take second in the championship because it was a few more. I think it was about points between the two. So, but Charlie Crossland and Dean Riley continue onward as we are 55 seconds away from the pit stop window being halfway through at the moment. Cami Sturch now having the pit stop. The pit stop is being expedited as we speak, and everyone all the way down to 12th position has yet to pit as we go to this battle with Martin Buchan and Reegan Mithcell. This is the battle for P4 on the road. Martin Buchan looking to get himself as high up the order as possible, and that Lexus looking rather racy heading into Tamburello. Kieran Vidago is just ahead. Both the LED rear lights up on the back of both cars, and they both make it through Tamburello nice and easy does it.
I honestly, from the looks of that slightly deceptive camera angle, thought Martin Buchan was honestly going to drive round the outside of Reegan Mithcell going into turn one there. Thankfully, saner heads prevailed, and they're both still fighting it out on track. But Martin Buchan in this tail end of the season, Alex, he's really come to life and really bonded with that Lexus. I think he's going to be gutted that they're not holding on to that for next season.
Well, that depends on what happens with regards to whether Max Spooner continues to compete in this championship as well. But you never know, Martin might bring a surprise. Remember when he ran with the pink McLaren 720S GT3 in Season 2? When we were still on the R-Factor 2 platform with a lovely Scottish salt tyre, which has remained on this car, I'm pleased to add. Sean Campbell is now in pit lane, so these cars looking to get a little bit quicker. Still fastest lap at the moment is in the hands of Dean Robb, but look at the gap between him and Charlie Crossland. We're on lap number 18, or lap number 19 now, and the gap is now down to less than 0.3 of a second. We're going to go to a replay here. Now this is heading down into the Vatsa, so just keep your eyes on Charlie Crossland. Heading into the Vatsa, they turn in, Crossland, so through the double left here at Rivatsa goes. Oh, hang on! Oh, whoa! Did you see that? He looked like he was about to, literally exit stage right and go into the pits, and he decided at the last second, I'm not going to lose this lead right now. Vidago and Pounder now in the pits with 8 minutes and 35 to go on the clock. That was a bit close there for Charlie Crossland. That was a bit of squeaky bum time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit strange why they're deciding to not go in at that point. I get obviously strategy and stuff like that, but ultimately when you're trying to catch up, it's not the normal thing that you actually see. Also, just having a look that car 30, it's an in-game penalty and not one from the steward, so that was for Hamish Eisner. That's likely to have been heavily speeding in the pit lane, so possibly forgot to put the pit lane limiter on.
Well, we have to carry on with this battle here. Martin Buchan is don't tell me he's going to fling it up the inside. He's got alongside Reegan Mithcell and through into, of all places, Variante Alta has got through. Now, I think that might have been tactical from Reegan Mithcell, as Dean Riley now pits from second position on the road. And we're getting into the last 7.5 minutes of the pit stop window before it closes, and then we have a flat-out 20-minute sprint. Charlie Crossland, I think, tried to call bluff, and here we go. Martin Buchan in the pits. Reegan Mithcell continues onward.
I think that gamble is going to backfire for Charlie Crossland, because Dean Riley is going to get into some free air as Luke Pound gets that stop-go 30-second penalty there. Like I say, it's going to backfire, because Dean Riley is going to have the clean air come out and just get the pace going on there. I think worst case scenario, we get treated to one heck of a scrap in the next 25 minutes. Meanwhile, Robbie Stapleford still making his way through. I take back any prediction of him winning this race, given the fact that that Crossland, sorry, not Crossland, is that Robbie Stapleford, I think, is going to be like 25 seconds behind.
That could be a very interesting development, to be completely honest with you, but we'll have to wait and see, because the jury's not out on that one. 6 minutes or so still to go. Rich Smith is in clear air, so is Robbie Stapleford. It's got the other cars in front. That is actually Charlie Crossland. And so for those wondering on the track map, the triangle looks to be the leader, and the red, the yellow, the round dots are the remainder of the field. So there goes Robbie Stapleford across the line, and Charlie Crossland now is in the pits with less than 6 minutes on the pit stop window to go, as is Max Spooner. There is Crossland making his way down pit lane. Spooner's car just being serviced as we speak. Don't worry about the ghosting, it will just go through to its normal position onto the pit stop and the pit lane itself. Robbie Stapleford coming through. Luke Pound now comes in to serve his stop-go 30 as a result of speeding in the pit lane. Dean Riley sitting in 5th position. Now, at the moment, as things stand, the way things are at the minute now, Reegan Mithcell is in the pits and is just about to pull up to the pit stop. I think this could be the moment where both Riley and Smith could not be that far away from maybe getting ahead of Reegan Mithcell. And if that happens, David, as Charlie Crossland now exits the pits, this puts Simsport Solutions in prime position. It's now Dean Riley coming out of the final corner. This could be very, very close indeed. Not for the lead of the race. I'm not counting on the lead of the race, because Crossland's about to bury the throttle coming out of the pits. And I think Mithcell's still in the pit lane. So here comes Riley across the line. Will go ahead of Mithcell, and Mitchell's just about to leave pit lane. This could give Simsport... Oh no! Riley's gone off, going through Tamburello. No, that was going through into... Yeah, that was going through Tamburello. So it was coming... So I'm not too sure what happened there. It was out of eye shot what was happening outside. But there was a yellow there. Oh, that's Max Spooner. And that's got scuff marks all up the right-hand side. So Max Spooner's brought out a yellow.
Come on, Alex, say it. Yeah, he's right beside it. Yeah, you have to finish it.
Just one cornetto.
There we
Sorry.
go.
There we go. Had to do it. And Andy Tucker, I hopefully you're listening, mate. Oh, dearie me. That joke has never gotten old, and especially when we get to an Italian track. If that happens, it always does. And he's gone back to the pits, returned to garage. He won't be continuing. So retirement on the final race of the season for the eTeam BRIT manager and the eTeam Visara driver, Max Spooner. But yeah, I mean, the thing is that now look at how it's changed. Okay, Dean Riley and Rich Smith have both pitted. David, look at where Reegan Mithcell and Kieran Vidago are. With 23 minutes on the clock, Mithcell and Vidago have to push. They have to throw caution to the wind. They want to get that team's title, because now Simsport Solutions, by my count, will have... Now, Riley is now Neustings and Ballesteros. Now, this is going to change things a little bit. So, Crossland will still lead. Riley's 4.7 seconds behind. So, that's That's going to be a total of 36 points for 36 points for SimSports Solutions, which make it 182, and then SimSport Racing. So when Ballesteros pits, that's going to put Reegan Mithcell in 6th place. Oh, that's going to drop them quite a considerable way back. That's going to probably put them on 155 points. And here's why Max Spooner. This is through Variante Alta. No, hang on. Oh, he manages to catch it. That was just one moment when he was doing his old, channeling his inner SVG and getting himself all sorted out on that one. No, Max Spooner's just told me the game didn't give him any fuel. Did he press the wrong button? He ran out of fuel. Yeah. Okay, right. Keep your eyes on this. We've got a little bit of an extended replay out of the pit lane. Through into Tamburello. And wait for it. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. Revs have died. Revs have died completely. And Phil Webb has just put more singing Alex Goldschmidt on the Facebook thing. Oh, you cheeky beggar. I'm not doing that again. That was a one-off cameo, considering.
I know this isn't relevant, but I love how the rear view mirror in the replay doesn't match up with the actual car in the game. I've never noticed that before, but if you look, his car's coming out.
Yeah. It looks like
I've only just noticed that. Yeah, it has, because it was just coming out of pit lane.
Yeah, it's just going through Tamburello, so it's sped up to catch up with the rest of the cars, just run out of fuel. Oh my goodness. Right, so Neuslings and Ballesteros in the pit, so that means everyone will have taken a pit stop. And, right, in 40 seconds, final pit stop window of Season 3 of the eTeam BRIT GT Challenge will be officially closed. It's 20 minutes to go until we hit the check-in, and Charlie Crossland, 4.6 seconds ahead of Dean Riley. Is looking good to get another victory this season. So now things level themselves out. So, yeah, just looking at it from this perspective, it's going to be 182 to 157. Obviously, this doesn't take into account drop scores, but the way things are is, well saved Cammy Search right there. Did you see that?
That was quite impressive, actually, to be fair. And just so get a lap down.
Indeed. So, so Max Spooner can now have all the gelato and cheesecake he likes, because he's got no fuel in that Lexus. Sorry, we do take the mickey out of him. He's a good old egg, is Max. He's a good bloke. But good to see that. Good to see the return of Cammy in the series, obviously with all the work that she did last time out with that radical GT3 car. There's a car coming out of the pit lane. That is Sandro Ballesteros, I believe. And, oh, God, that was threading the eye of the needle right there, wasn't it?
Well, this is 4th position as well, if I'm not mistaken. So, because Bradley Brockie's obviously fallen behind here. So, yeah, this is now Sandro, up the road now. So, this is 4th position. Cammy needs to get a move on to get past this car. But either way, I mean, we've got a yellow flag out very, very briefly. That is the number, what's that? Oh, so Luke Pound's been disqualified. Luke Pound disqualified from the session, but I'm trying to find out where that yellow flag is. In fact, that was Luke Pound in the pits that brought that out.
Oh God! Like they say that lightning doesn't strike twice. Thank you, con simulazione. Twice we've had a car in the pit lane, and twice it's come up with a yellow flag. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, it's a bizarre one for sure. But, that's interesting. Bradley Brockies gets passed by Sandro Ballesteros there. And, in fact, no, it wasn't. Excuse me. Of course, that's Charlie Crossland. Right, we'll just pretend I didn't actually say anything there. Because, Cammy Sturge, it's so easy to do coming out of that chicane there. It's so easy to just get too much power on, and now it's battle stations to try and hold on to that position.
Yeah. Dean Riley's just gone past, and that's just it's Mike. There might be that is the 445 Michael Tyler just behind Cammy, and there is Charlie Cross, and we've got 17 minutes and 47 seconds. The running order as things stand: Charlie Crossland about 4 seconds ahead of Dean Riley. Dean Riley is about to cross the line, just under 4 seconds between first and second position. Rich Smith, also for Simsport Solutions, running at the top 3, and these two looking pretty good for the team's title on Season 3. Martin Buchan rounds out the top 4 in the sole eTeam Vasara Lexus RCF GT3 after Max Spooner running out of fuel. Kieran Vidago in 5th place. There is Robbie Stapleford. Reegan Mithcell rounds out the top 6. Robbie Stapleford in the very black matte black 81 McLaren rounds out the top 7. Sean Campbell for Divario Corsa coming through Duvaz in the 8th place, number 26 Lamborghini Huracan GT3. James Haskell for X-Kart Esports, the Dexterous Designs Limited logo on both door panels of the car. Rounding out 9th position, Mark Neutlings for Positive Perception Simsport in the 555 Bentley. Rounds out the top 10. Bradley Brockies in 11th position. 12th, it's Sandra Ballesteros in the number 19, with Cami Sturch for Divario Corsa running in this event for the first time since she debuted with the eTeam BRIT GT Challenge in Season 2. She currently runs 13th, fractionally ahead by probably just a few car lengths ahead of Michael Tyler for eTeam BRIT Aston Martin. James Hall in the number 67 eTeam BRIT McLaren 720S GT3 is in 15th position. Dan Hyde, who was running as high as 8th position, his highest position in the championship so far in terms of running out on track, and as I said, that he has a little bit of a track cut through Tamburello, runs 16th, and Max Spooner, oh, hang on, he's managed to get some fuel, so no gelato yet. He's got to have that after he's had the cold shower. So Max Spooner back out on track. 17 cars, no longer having Hamish Easner or Luke Pound circulating on the track, but there you have the two Cavallino Rampantes, the prancing horses more commonly known in English. The two Ferrari 488 GT3 Evos of both Kieran Vidago leading teammate Reegan Mithcell with 15.5 minutes on the clock, and the team's title looks to be going the way of Simsport Solutions in the dying stages of the season.
Yeah, you've got to say well deserved as well. It's not just been about today, it's been about the entire effort from the team over the season. They've worked really, really hard with it, and even now the two of them working in tandem to tow each other around the circuit and try and catch on to the back of Martin Buchan. Just 4.8 seconds up the road there in that 4th position, but to be honest with you, they're not even on the same pace as Martin Buchan or any of the others just now. They can, you know, sit back, relax, enjoy the rest of the 15 minutes here, and enjoy this what's looking like a very, very good day out in Italy for them.
Yes, indeed. We've had sunshine all the way through the racing itself. Server time showing at 6:53 p.m. and we have not had a cloud in the sky. Track temperature has dropped 3 degrees since we had the start of the race just over 45.5 minutes ago, as Max Spooner closing in on, that looks to be possibly James Hall just in front. That Lexus has picked up the pace there, so Max Spooner on a low fuel strategy, trying to get a couple of hot laps in there, maybe preparation for next season, who knows, but the blue flag I think was waving in his general direction there, so Max, you're going to have to, well, if you want to, try and get out of the way, but that was Bradley Brockies, he just did the old school of send on there. So good to see that Max is still got his sense of humour, and he's still going around each corner one-handed doing his own inner Shane Van Gisbergen there.
Yeah, he certainly is getting things back going. Might be able to get 1 or 2 positions here, but again, it's more about just, you know, it's about finishing the season, isn't it, Alex? If I'm honest with you, you know, it's about having fun, enjoying the race, and you know, enjoying the final round of what's been an amazing outing for Max. Okay, things could have gone better for him, but again, you know, take part in it and enjoy the final couple of laps.
Indeed it is. So it's the final hurrah of this championship, and we're going to find out who is going to end up second, who's going to win the team titles, and they both looked pretty well locked in as things stand with 13 minutes to go, but in motorsport something normally does happen, and invariably it will. But Charlie Crossland, having done a great job, came in back after not being here for Spa, was otherwise engaged elsewhere, has come back, and and said, well, if I was here for every single round, then Robbie Stapleford might have been a bit more under duress, let's say. But after the track cut incident, I think was one of the biggest turning points, I think, in the season. David, when he straight lined the Fogarty S's and got a 5-second time penalty, didn't he? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
That was just a bit of an uncomfortable silence there.
Sorry, I jumped in to agree and heard you still talking. I was like, oh, right, sorry, you've not finished your point there.
Oh, no, I had finished my point.
Okay, yes, he did cut track and got that penalty. And looking back on the season, Alex, isn't it funny how it's those little things that just add up over the course of the season and really put prey to it? And obviously, hindsight is a wonderful, wonderful thing, but you maybe wouldn't have got the track cut had they not been pushing so hard. Had they not been pushing so hard, maybe they still wouldn't have been in the position that they were towards the end of the season. Maybe they would have been much further down. It's all swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
It is indeed. It is indeed. And just to say that, quite interesting between 5th and 6th, and it's between two teammates, and we know what the old saying goes, don't we? Never take out your teammate. We don't want that happening on the last throw of the dice on the final round of the championship, where Reegan Mithcell is less than 7 tenths behind teammate Kieran Vidago. I think they've fought all the way through the season, but Dean Riley and Rich Smith, they've made it count where it's counted most, haven't they?
Yeah, they absolutely have. And with 10 minutes left to go, I mean, there's not much left to do now. It's just a case of racking down the laps, Alex. And for us, it's a chance to maybe reflect on what has been an amazing season. The fact that they've brought it to this point, and I can't believe it's been a whole 8 months since we actually started this season 3 here. And it always makes me feel, and this might sound a little bit strange for our viewers and our listeners out there, but I always, as a commentator, get an immense sense of pride when we come into the final round of a season. We start getting into the final, final 5-10 minutes, because you think, what an achievement for every single one of these drivers, regardless, if they've finished first or if they've finished 17th, if they've not finished the race at all, even just turning up. The fact that we've seen the same names, Alex, week and week and week after each other. And I've been in many different championships where it's taken, we want to say that it's taken more seriously, or it's a bigger esports event, and by week 5 out of week 10 you've got maybe a quarter of the drivers who turn up because they've lost interest in it. Whereas with this, all of the drivers stayed right through to the end. We've lost maybe 2 or 3 drivers over the course of the season. It's been brilliant to watch, really, really enjoyable, and I'm so immensely proud of the way that all of the drivers out here, all of them have conducted themselves this season.
I think really, to put it in more of a real life context, that there are times when we wanted this to make this championship as close to real life as possible. You see championships spanning like 6 months, 8 to 7 months, and to have around a month, I think it meant that drivers and teams had more time to prepare, and thereby it provides a direct correlation that everyone's in it for the long haul. And we're going to, when you and I first started with eTeam BRIT, what we were doing. We like literally had a packed schedule, didn't we, for 8 rounds, so like 8 rounds in 8 weeks, and it was difficult to keep up that pace. But now, with 1 race a month, it's going to be a pretty interesting first round for race 1 of season 4. I'm not going to let slip on that because I already know, because I've been a bit involved in that planning. But it's going to be a doozy.
Really, Alex, where should I be practicing, do you think, in the next couple of weeks?
Probably somewhere in the southeast of England.
Well, that really doesn't have a time, does it? Being up here in Scotland, everything is the southeast of England for me. But it really
depends on the weather.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Being honest, though, I mean, like we said, obviously season 3 done and dusted, just about 7.5 minutes away from being in the books. And I was lucky enough to stumble across this league and this whole community by accident, by watching one of your previous broadcasts, and then I thought, right, I fancy getting involved with that. Did it, and honestly, it's just been such a great little community to be part of, and it's actually, for me, it's a nice thing to take part in, because we've been right at the cutting edge of esports commentary. We've commentated on some of the fastest drivers out there, and it's scary. As somebody who's not very fast, it's absolutely intimidating. I look at that and I think, I don't want to take part in that. I don't want to just be there to make up the numbers. Whereas with the eTeam BRIT Championship, you've got such a wide range of talents, you've got such a wide range of skill levels, because it's open to everyone. It's very, very inclusive, and anyone can just rock up and think, yeah, I fancy having a go in this. And we see like the ultra fast drivers like Charlie Crossland, Dean Riley, and Robbie Stapleford, and then you can have folk like even like Martin Buchan who can turn up, and they're not very fast at all. So they get welcomed with open arms as well. And again, I just love winding him up, because the thing is he listens to these broadcasts back, and he gives me abusive messages on Facebook, so I just do it for the attention from Martin Buchan. But to finish my point, it makes me very excited to know that I'm going to be a part of this next season, and it makes me super keen to put in a lot of effort to make it a really good show. And I think that's what everyone here has done over the course of the season.
Yeah, we can't thank all the partners behind the scenes, the likes of the Copperfield London Dry Gin Distillery. Right, someone has just gone off track, and that was the Fario Quarter car. Please do not was that Cammy? Might have gone off the track there, I think. I've just seen her number ping up, and there was a number 19 car involved. Sandro Ballesteros. Were you involved in that little contretemps, I wonder? Well, if we can get a replay, we have to say a big thank you firstly to SimSport Solutions Broadcasting. They've done a fantastic job providing us with all these fantastic angles, and of course the man, the myth, the legend that you and I both have worked on multiple occasions. We have to give this man a shout out, Mike Yao. He's done an absolutely exemplary job as always, and also a big thank you to all the partners that have part and parcel of eTeam BRIT, and also Team BRIT as well. So a big thank you to every single one of them for helping to keep this championship flourishing as it has done. We've got more exciting things to come for season 4. And David, we're going to now see a replay. This is into Piratella. Don't tell me we're going to see. Now this is coming into Acqua Minerale. So here's lost the back end. I'm wondering if there was because at the same time, the thing is that because we're seeing on the live timing, we actually see a time index of accident involving. So it doesn't say whether it's a spin or it's had someone's had a bit of an incident with somebody else, but at exactly the same time to the second, it then said accident involving 19, which is Sandro Ballesteros. So I thought he might have been involved with that one, but as the footage showed, clearly not. But it's like you say, and James Hall has just got a drive through for track limits abuse. That's one thing you don't want to have at a track like this either, David.
No, and I think Kieran Vidago is pushing those track limits to their absolute extreme coming out of the chicane there at Variante Alta. No, it's not, because obviously you drive through penalty, you then have to go through the pit lane. That takes time off you, and it is just an absolute hassle. But as 3.5 minutes left to go, and it's looking like it is a fairly quiet affair. That is until I tell you that gap between Charlie Crossland and Dean Riley was 4.5 seconds, now 2.5 seconds, and Dean Riley taking about 0.3 of a second off every lap. Now we've only got 3 laps left to go, but as soon as Dean Riley starts seeing Charlie Crossland getting closer and closer and closer, that Aston Martin behind is going to suddenly have an extra 15 brake horsepower as Dean Riley just starts, easing off the brakes a little bit sooner and putting back on that power and chasing down that car in front. I think we're going to have a little bit of a finish going on here.
Maybe some fireworks at the end of the party, at the end of the night. Who knows? James Hall now serves his drive-through penalty. slap on the wrist for that man there for naughty going over track limits. Well, he was exceeding them quite a bit, I think, earlier on in the race, and I think, what is it, 3 track cuts, and then 4th it's a drive-through, isn't it, David?
It certainly is. You get three warnings, and then the 4th you're sent straight to Monopoly jail. Do not pass go, do not collect £200. Is pretty much your
in the
races.
sin bin. If it's a ice hockey match, you'd be straight in the sin bin for 2 minutes.
I should have played dumb on that one, should I? It's like, I don't know, Alex, is it? I've never had that in my life. No, that's exactly what happens. It's and the thing is in the grand scheme of things, if you're in the mid-pack, it's not going to do you too much damage because the gaps are usually spread out. But if you're in the top 5, top 10, that is race over for you.
Indeed. We're heading into the last 2 minutes of this season. We started in South Africa at Kyalami. Been to some fantastic circuits over the course of the season. We've rounded it out here at this fantastic circuit at Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari at Imola. The time on the server now hits just 6 minutes past 7, and the sunshine still beating down, starting to set a little bit here, but we're still at 28 degrees Celsius in terms of the track temperature. There it is, Mark Neutlings, who completes the top 10 as things stand, and that gap has come down between 1st and 2nd now. There is Charlie Crossland getting past Mark Neutlings. There is Dean Riley. It looks like we're going to be heading on to our last lap, so we're on lap number 34. We'll have completed 35 laps of this circuit. Charlie Crossland is doing the right thing here, David. He's getting back marker traffic in between himself and Dean Riley so we can go on, get the W.
Yeah, but it's not going to last long because Martin Neutling's doing a very, very gentlemanly thing there and just moving out the way as soon as physically possible. Plus, also a big toe to Dean Riley there. But just coming across there, as you see the blue flag out there now. I'm not seeing that race symbol switch to white just yet, so we'll see as they come across the line. But I think you're right. I think this will be the last lap there, and I think Dean Riley has just been caught out by James Haskell there. In fact, caught out by the two of them. So this race is done.
So 15 seconds on the clock remain as our leader Charlie Crossland in the number 10 car. He is on the verge of securing 2nd in the championship. He was in the sharp end of proceedings earlier on in the season before one young man by the name of Robbie Stapleford decided to throw his 2 cents into the ring and instantly hit the podium on the 2nd round of the championship. Through Piratella for the final time, as I've just noted that Rich Smith is making his way through Doza. So it's looking pretty good for SimSport Solutions to secure the team's title. Daniel Hyde having a moment on the outskirts of Villeneuve, and that was a rejoin and a half in front of Max Spooner right there. But now we concentrate on the driver that is going to pick up 2nd in the championship very, very shortly, as Charlie Crossland makes it nice and easy through. He's got 2 after this, and this is what happened with Daniel Hyde.
Oh my God!
Yeet! Sorry, I just had to say it, but we got this and one more corner this and another corner remaining. Turn 18 out of Rivazza, and Charlie Crossland for the 35th and final time will cross the start-finish line and take another victory and secure his place as the runner-up in Season 3. The check-in is out. Dean Riley takes 2nd, and hold on to your hat, ladies and gentlemen, because now Rich Smith exits Rivazza. And this will provisionally confirm that SimSport Solutions are your Season 3 eTeam BRIT GT Challenge Team Champions, as Dan Hyde has gone for a Matthias Ekstrom once again. So your top 3, Charlie Crossland becomes your round 8 winner, and Charlie took the victory at round 3 earlier on this season. He's taken a 2nd, a 5th, a 2nd, a 4th, a 3rd, and now another victory. What on earth was that between? Just a bit of banditry. That was the big.
No, I think he's run out of fuel. I think that's what it was.
Oh my God! What, Vidago ran out of fuel and Mitchell pushed across the line. What on earth? And then Robbie Stapleford just manages to thread the eye of the needle and has a quick squeaky bum time before pulling it left. But there we go. That's it. That's all of the racing done. 8 races. God, 8 hours. My godfathers. When you think about it, David, that's a hell of a lot of minutes to cover, isn't it? Plus also qualifying.
Right, well, that was awesome, guys. I'll see you later. Cheers now, thanks.
We're still going to wrap up yet.
I know. That was an amazing season, though. It's just so much fun with the eTeam BRIT crowd. It really, really is. Always guaranteed high drama. Like I say, lots to see at the front of the field between Charlie Crossland and Dean Riley and the Simsport racing guys, and it's just been an amazing season, but also impressed that he didn't get his own way. Our very own Robbie Stapleford. In fact, where did Robbie finish?
He finished in 7th.
That's ridiculous. I mean,
considering the fact he
had a
did have that 10
as well. Oh, sorry, the 10-second penalty.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, I think that's the longest winning streak that anyone's had in eTeam BRIT GT Challenge history. So Robbie Stapleford is not only just because he actually, considering the fact that who was the person that won both championships in the drivers' standings? Matt Richards, and now we've got a new name. Could there be a new one for season 4? That's going to be the interesting thing. We are waiting for some drivers, and hopefully we'll get Max Spooner, because I have already pinged him a message and saying, get your backside into waiting for interview, because we do want to have a word, because we got to try and talk to him about season 4, where David has already you've given us a bit of a work in progress title, saying Camber Media Racing, powered by Simply Race, is the working title at the moment, isn't it?
Couldn't possibly say it. Couldn't possibly. We're still in super expensive discussions with Simply Race on getting them on board. It's actually getting to the point where I actually have to pay them to mention their brand on my car. But we'll
so, I was going to say, how many cobwebs are going to come out of your wallet then?
Wallet? Come on now, Alex. I am quite clearly from Scotland. There is no wallet that we talk of. It's a purse and a handbag.
Man bag.
But no, I mean, look, I'm not sure as of yet. I mean, obviously, the first thing I thought of was the whole Camber Media Racing vibe. But Mike Yao and the guys at Simply Race have been incredibly supportive. They've just been like, whatever championship you want to get involved in, let us know, and we'll try and help you out. And super grateful for them for that. And like say, I mean, eTeam BRIT, it's more, Alex, just so I get to hang about with you guys again, and just so we get to have this moment, because I'll be here and you'll be wanting to have a chat with me. But talking which, it looks like we do have some interviews, Alex.
Yeah, we do indeed. First of all, let's bring in our Season 3 Drivers champion, the number 81 of the Stapler himself, Robbie Stapleford. Let's see if we can bring this young man in, because still, nevertheless, we saw a pretty dynamite performance from him. Robbie, first of all, good to have you back with us, mate. Well, a good try to get your way through the field, hit with a 10-second penalty, but still finishing 7th, capping off what's been a pretty good season. Have you enjoyed yourself running in the eTeam BRIT GT Challenge this season?
Yeah, it's been a great season. Obviously, I was late into it and enjoyed it ever since, so looking forward to the next one.
Oh, good. So hopefully we might see you about for season 4. I mean, obviously, 4 wins on the bounce. Obviously, in some respects, we had a bit of a change, obviously, with Kunos changing the ballast side of things, so we couldn't hit you with a 75 kilo penalty every time. Penalty for the next race every time you either put it on pole or you got it on the race victory. But the field's been ultra competitive. You've had stern competition with the likes of Dean Riley, Charlie Crossland, Rich Smith this season. It's been a great crowd to race with, hasn't it, for you?
Yeah, definitely. They're definitely a good bunch racing, and they're always clean, and you can always have a good race with them. So,
well done this season, Robbie. Congratulations on becoming our Season 3 Drivers Champion, and hopefully we look forward to seeing you back for Season 4, buddy.
Cheers, guys.
Right then, next up, David, I'll hand this one over to you. Do you want to have a chat with our race winner, Charlie Crossland?
Yeah, let's bring Charlie in and have a little bit of a chat. Charlie, A very, very good evening. That was an awesome race. Talk us through it from your point of view.
I don't know. I was an autopilot, so I just went, I guess. Yeah.
I love that. So, for the benefit of our viewers at home, who maybe don't know what you mean by that autopilot stage, what do you mean by that? Because obviously it looks quite complicated to drive these cars around the track, but you do enter that stage of where everything just comes naturally, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just wasn't concentrating. I was just doing it, I guess. I was just, yeah.
Obviously, I just wanted to get your thoughts on Dean Riley as well. We'll be speaking to Dean in a second, but we saw it quite a few times. You got that initial gap, and then the gap starts coming down. Now, were you just managing the gap? Cough, cough, that's the professional answer. Or was Dean genuinely starting to catch you up towards the middle and end of the race?
I guess he was just faster than me then. Yeah, he was just catching me up. Yeah.
And then finally, obviously, it's been an amazing season. You just missed out on getting the championship. Are you going to be back for the next season?
I don't know, because I'm not a fan of the long season, as in like a month and then a race and a month and a race, because the game changes a lot. So I'm not sure. We'll never know.
Fingers crossed we at least get you in for one or two races then next season, Charlie. Thanks very much for joining us tonight, buddy.
Thank you.
There we go then. So Charlie Crossland, I feel privileged. Legendary man, a few words there, Alex, but I think I got at least 10 out of him tonight.
At least, David. That was probably about the maximum you were going to get out. Whenever you and I speak to Charlie, it's always... I do use this phrase, a man, a few words, but he does his talking out on the track, and that's what he's done tonight. So, congratulations to Charlie Crossland, provisionally our runner-up this season in the Drivers' Championship. But we're going to bring in two drivers that we need to speak to. Let's bring in Dean Riley and Rich Smith from SimSport Solutions. They are, provisionally speaking, your Season 3 eTeam BRIT GT Challenge Teams Champions. Let's see if we can bring them in now. So, Dean, Rich, firstly, what a great finish for the season for you guys. And that effectively picks you guys up as the provisional Season 3 Teams Champions. Well done.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Yeah, there's another sort of interesting race for the start, but yeah, I think Dean had a pretty pain-free one, although I think he's kicking himself a bit because he feels he had the win in the bag there, really. He let himself down on the qualifying lap, as did I. So, no, it's been a good season, enjoyed it, and yeah, hopefully we can return again next season.
Yeah, definitely would be good to... I was going to speak to you first of all, Rich, because, you know, Dean had a pain-free start. You were nearly in the trenches. I think you might have been exiting stage left at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Way into the wall off of a Tamburello.
Yeah, no, it's. I knew I had to give Reegan space. The problem with the Assetto is it's so slow off the start. You get swallowed up by all the other cars, and I knew Reegan was alongside me, so he actually gave me, looking back at the replay, he gave me plenty of space. I just come over the inside curb, got a real slapper on, ended up down in 7th, sort of trying to make it back on. Then I felt a tag on the rear end, so I just watched it back, and it looked like obviously guys were coming around the corner and sort of squashed themselves into the, into where I was as well. And I wasn't really sure what happened, to be honest. I just felt a tag on the back end as I was coming through to the exit. But yeah, then obviously that put me down in 7th place, 3 or 4 seconds off the back of 6th place, and I had to start getting some laps in to try and pick these places back. So I knew my race pace was actually better than my quali pace, so I actually knew I had the pace to do okay in the race. But it's made it hard work for myself. But I feel sorry for poor Sean Campbell, who obviously missed the start of the race, but clearly he had the pace to be up there as well. So if he'd have carried on, I think he may well have taken that 3rd place.
Yeah, he did manage to finish a respectable 8th at the end of it all, so good work from Sean there. So a big thanks to you, Rich, for giving Sean a bit of a shout out there. Dean, let's turn to you now. You started off the season really, really strongly, a win at Kyle Army, and then it all went a bit beat Tong. You had the massive disaster going through the Fog TSs at Donington. I know you don't want to really be reminded of that one, but nevertheless, you've picked yourself up, dusted yourself off. You got to within just under 1.4 seconds off of Charlie come the end of this race, and I think there was a possibility. Myself and David were thinking that you were catching Charlie at quite a rate of knots. I think at some points, best part of about a second a lap. The win was on the cards here, wasn't it? But I think you guys were very interested in securing the team's title as well, weren't you, at the same time?
I mean, yeah, coming out of the pits, I just misjudged about a back marker. I don't know whether he was trying to let me past or what, but I had to run through the gravel, and that was my only opportunity to really get past Charlie. I think if I could have got past him, I think I could have pulled away. Definitely had the pace on him, but yeah, I mean, I think I threw that race away, to be honest. My qualifying was a bit bad, but overall, we won the teams, and yeah, happy with that. Just disappointed in the performance from me, even though it was a second place.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. But Rich, Dean, congratulations. Season 3, eTeam BRIT GT champions. Has a nice ring to it, don't you think?
Yeah, happy with that. Yeah, I mean, from my point of view, I'd had missed a race during the season and had a one where I was taken out before I got to T1 at Monza.
Oh, God, yeah, I remember that one.
So I had a couple of no point scores. So I was here for the team really to finish it off for the teams with Dean and try and bring that title home. So yeah, it's been nice to have to get the performance in today and do that for us, because yeah, I know Dean's worked hard for it as well. So yeah, it's been good.
Guys, thank you very much. Have a great evening. Hopefully we see you guys come back to defend your title and maybe even go for the driver's crown in Season 4.
Yep,
cheers,
definitely.
guys. Thanks very much. Take care.
Cheers.
Well, before we wrap things up here on the broadcast for the final time in Season 3 of the eTeam BRIT GT Challenge, let's bring the man, the myth, the legend, the one that likes to run out of fuel in the final race of the championship. Let's bring in Mr. Max Spooner. So, Mr. I want to be like Shane Van Gisbergen tonight. What happened? The game didn't give you fuel on your final pit stop of the season.
I think what happened was Martin said to me, "Oh, Max, the temperatures have gone up, so reload the setup." So I reloaded the setup, having done the fuel firsthand, and then when I'd reloaded it, of course, ice cream finder really.
The joke is never going to get old in a month of Sundays, you know it.
Nope, it certainly isn't. But I was like, yeah, so when I loaded the setup, of course, I didn't do the fuel. So when I came in, I remembered to uncheck the damage that I received earlier on in the race, but of course, didn't clock that there was no litres of fuel to be added. So as I went out, it's like, I thought that was game over, so I thought I'd try my luck to see if I can return the garage and maybe get a tow back. And then yeah, it put fuel in the car, so I just thought, sod it, you never know, people are getting penalties left, right and centre, maybe a few drop-offs, I might get into the points, and I think I was just shy with 16th in the end.
Yeah, you were you're about 2.5 laps away from James Hall.
Okay, so, miles away from points then.
Well, I mean, you still finished 16th, nevertheless. But let's have a look at the season itself. So, Robbie Stapleford, Season 3 Drivers Champion, SimSport Solutions, Team 3 Teams Champions. So, Season 3 Teams Champions. All in all, a pretty good return to the Assetto Corsa Competizione platform. We know that Season 4 is not too far away, and I'm sure that the eTeam BRIT social media will be promoting that to the hill. But things are looking interesting. V-Box Motorsport coming on board for Season 4 as a title partner, which is really, really good news. What can we expect in Season 4? Because I understand there's going to be an interesting first race. Do you have any more details to share?
Well, I think you sort of touched on it earlier, didn't you? So, basically, what we're looking to do for round 1 is it's going to be we really want to open Season 4 with a bang, so we're going to do a day-to-night transition race at Brands Hatch over 2 hours.
And that will be with 3 pit stops that can be taken at any time, I think, between you and me, the discussions that we've had. So the calendar is going to be announced soon. We are, at some point, in some respects, I'm really glad to hear that David's going to be joining the grid like he did in the Team BRIT Summer Series. It's going to be nice to have him back along with you lot, isn't he, driving behind the wheel?
Well, that very much depends if he gets in my way or not.
Ah, dear. Bang straight in there like a shot.
It's alright. The only time I'll be getting in your way, Max, is when I get a blue flag.
But I mean, David's has been brilliant for the last what has it been now, 3 seasons.
Yeah.
On the comms, and yeah, it'll be great to see him back in the car. Of course, you were with us back many moons ago in the summer series. Christ, that was a long time ago now.
That honestly feels like about 16 years ago since we did that.
He's slept since then.
So, but yeah, I think we really, we were experimenting for the first couple of seasons, trying to get the right formula, the right balance of how we wanted the season to play out. And I think with this season we've finally got it. So I think going into next year, the format's gonna be pretty much the same. I think probably the only major thing people will notice different is the fact we're going to be introducing the BMW M4, as that of course was released partway through the season. But yeah, it's a case of just making sure now getting all our ducks in line, getting the calendar finalised, and then start promoting the new season. Hopefully we'll have some great prizes once again from our from our great sponsors such as BRIT and Kausha and Visaro and Texaco, and of course some of our new partners such as Brand Advance, Adrian Flux, Orchid, Hilton Hotels. There's so many partners. I'd just be here for a very long time naming them all. And of course we've got V-Box coming in as a title partner for season 4.
Well, Max, the last question I need to ask you: are you racing next season?
Of course, that was ever in doubt.
And are you going to have Mr. Buchan to be your saving grace again?
Well, he hasn't given me the divorce papers just yet, so
he hasn't given you the P45.
Not yet. So fingers crossed. I'll have a good teammate, and we may be featuring some new colours on the car, and maybe an entirely different car altogether.
Yeah, well, Max Spooner, eTeam BRIT team boss, thank you very much, mate, and all the very best. We'll catch up with you in the run up to season 4.
Can't wait.
So big thank you to Max there for joining us in the broadcast booth. David, it's going to be a little bit of a ta-ta for now, but it'll be see you very soon when it comes back to season 5, obviously, of the eTeam BRIT GT Challenge. But it's been an absolute pleasure working with you over the last 3 seasons here on this championship. I know we're going to work together in the future, that much is guaranteed. But mate, any final words before we sign off tonight?
Yeah, just what a season it's been. Thank you for the kind words, Alex. Obviously, it's just a little temporary flurry into pretending to be a sim racing driver. It'll probably end in tears, and I'll be back behind the microphone very, very soon indeed. What an amazing season we've been treated to. Robbie Stapleford, the incircumscriptible young man who has just been amazing through the season. It's been a proper slobber knocker of a season. It feels like it's been an absolute welterweight division for everyone to take a scrap throughout the season, and really, really looking forward to getting my sleeves rolled up, Alex, and getting involved.
And getting your elbows out, of course, Mr. Christie.
Absolutely.
There we go. But a big thank you to you all for watching. A big thank you to SimSports Solution Broadcasting for their help, and also with Mike Yao, who's been the man behind the broadcast cameras all season long. A big thank you to all the partners and sponsors of eTeam BRIT and Team BRIT for their continued involvement. And we will see you very soon for Season 4. Stay tuned to the eTeam BRIT social media channels for further information about how you can get involved, what the calendar is going to be like, who's going to be joining this particular bloke, some bloke who's got a good face for radio, on co-commentary. You'll find that out in due course. On behalf of myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and my co-commentator for the last 3 seasons, who will be having that little flitter with some driving antics in Season 4, David Christie. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye from Emilia Romagna, and see you very soon. Until then, take care, stay safe.